Guys, welcome back to the channel. If you don't live under a rock, you probably heard about the big crypto crash over the last 2 days. It's all over the news, it's all over Twitter, you can read about it everywhere. Over $16 billion of long positions in the crypto space have been liquidated, because of a, market correction. And a lot of people lost a lot of money, and this shows you again why it is so important to withdraw Bitcoin from the exchange you bought it on and, store it on a hardware wallet in cold storage. And you always just buy spot and you don't lever up if you don't know 150,000% what you're doing. And even then, I think trading in general is quite a degenerate behavior. It's just like shuffling money from A to B, and it's just, I don't know, it's just this behavior of just the world we come to, just speculative gambling. And when you truly understand Bitcoin, you just sit back and you see the world going up in flames, and you're like, it's just another day. A 10, 12, 15% drawdown for Bitcoin is super normal in one day. That can happen anytime, because the asset class is still maturing. And you see how this, has this crazy chain reaction to it. The last big crash was in 2022 when a exchange called FTX went bankrupt and didn't actually have the assets they said they had. And this also had a really big chain reaction, and a lot of lenders and a lot of other bad actors in the space went bankrupt because they levered themselves up with money they actually didn't have, right? And it's like it just happens over and over again. And if you have Bitcoin in cold storage, you just sit there and you're like, yeah, that's fine. I'm just sitting at a price. Of course, the price goes down, but that doesn't bother you if you understand Bitcoin on a true basis, because your time horizon is probably 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 years even, or even longer for most Bitcoiners, as far as I can tell. And this is, it's just one of these examples where I'm like, it's just one of these days, right? You're like, you just sit back and like, whatever. And so one other funny thing that happened is today's Sunday, and on Wednesday last week, we just had a meetup in the city here in Sydney from the Bitcoin Sydney organization. And there were 4 amazing speakers, just fireside chat basically. And, also a Q&A, answering questions of the crowd, of the audience. And the question was, when is it a good time to borrow against your Bitcoin and to kind of lever up, And one of the speakers said it is probably not a good idea at around 125, because Bitcoin at the time was $123,000, I think. It's probably not a good time. And it's over and over again, the most important message is that you get your Bitcoin off the exchange and hold it in cold storage, right? This is just the everything, the base of everything in Bitcoin. Not your keys, not your coins. It's super, super important to understand this concept. And, and just 4 days later, basically, just the whole world, exactly what they predicted, or not predicted, what we were talking about, that, this, you can just get caught offside, and you can just get caught in these drawdowns, and then you just lose your Bitcoin. And if you level it up stupidly. And it's just the only way I would borrow against my Bitcoin. I do that since a couple of years too, but I do it extremely, extremely conservative with a very, very small amount of my stock. And I started with an extremely small position, like $1,000 or something like that. And I will, whatever happens, right, I will never use more than 5% of my overall sort of portfolio or Bitcoin stock size to do that with. Even in the future, I will never ever risk more of my Bitcoin to do any of these things or to lever up. And I do that on a platform called Ledin.io. They are a Canadian-based company. They're absolutely amazing, and they went through all of the crypto drawdowns, all of the crypto winters. I think they launched in 2018, and they have a proof of reserves. But you have to understand that you still give up your Bitcoin to them if you use their platform, and to borrow against your Bitcoin. And it's not really leverage trading if you do it like that, but you need to really understand the ins and outs of these Bitcoin loans before you do anything about it. Also, this is not a recommendation. This is just, I'm just saying what I'm doing. And it's just one of these days where I'm like, yeah, it's just like everyone's kind of freaking out, and you go on Twitter and the world's, going up in flames, and you're like, yeah, another day or another event where a lot of Bitcoin maxis are born and formed, because they simply realize that in the end, everything will gravitate towards Bitcoin because it's simply the safe haven asset of the crypto world, and the store of value, and the thing which is most secure and most decentralized. In fact, it's actually the most safest and most robust computer network in the world. And yeah, it's just, a lot of Bitcoiners were born over the last 2-3 days. So that's just my message for today. Thank you very much for listening. I appreciate it. And I see you next time.